grownfolksmusic.com.
Yeah, we're gonna get into Brandon has a new release out. Came out last Friday, Vulnerable, which is an acoustic rendering of just great music from the two previous projects of yours, correct?
Right.
So yeah, tell us a little bit about the inspiration, and we can get into some tracks, if you want to talk about some of them, and take it from there.
Yeah, so I really, man, what it was, I really wanted to, like, I know what these songs sounded like as I was creating them. And I remember hearing the beauty in these same songs that I just put out on Vulnerable before, before we got drums on them and before we got like all of the stuff, and I'll never forget listening to my version of Yvonne Lindsay's Velas. I was listening to Nadia, that one features Nadia Washington from the first album. I was listening to that, and I listened to it, and it was just a version with just her and and the strings, and it was amazing. It was amazing. I did the same thing when I listened to Leave Love Be, and I'm like, yo, I need to release this at some point. And what happened? I put up the string session that I did. I put that up on YouTube. And people were just sharing and sharing and sharing. And and then in the comments, people were like, man, I wish I had a version, like this, or I wish I could just get this, or I wish I had a version with, with just the strings and Alex. And I'm like, yo, that's actually a really good idea to put that out. And, the song it's a beautiful song. It's actually my favorite song off of the first album. But there's a beauty in the lyric that you don't necessarily pick up with everything that's going on musically. So when you start taking those layers away and you just hear Alex, strings, and piano, like you really get to hone in on what she's saying and really feel, you really get to feel what she's talking about. And then there's a beauty in the strings and in the piano that you don't hear when you got bass and drums and all of this stuff, But I remember, because a lot of the stuff that Alan was playing, Alan Johnson is playing piano, and a lot of the stuff that he was playing, I actually had to pull out because it was getting in the way of strings or getting in the way of something that the bass may have been doing. So I was able to just put all of that stuff back in there, and it really complemented what Alex did on there. But that's kind of how I came up with the concept, was just from putting that string video up. And, so I just started listening down the songs from the first and second album. And I'm like, yo, this one would be good. So I said, okay, this one. And I picked this one up. We did one with Matt and, literally took everything out of that song and just left Matt and the piano. And it's great. And I also wanted to hear these songs the way that I would perform them if I was doing it with an orchestra, or if you were just sitting, at a, at a little intimate spot with just somebody singing and playing piano. Like, that's what everything sounds like, with Matt. It just sounds like he's just sitting there playing the piano and singing. So, there's just a beauty in these songs, and I just kind of wanted to pull some of the layers off to let people hear what I heard. Yeah.
grownfolksmusic.com